That look good?
Welcome back to the Change Physician. I'm Melissa Cady, the Challenge Doctor, with my co-host, Dr. Kevin Cuccaro, on your nothing but Saturday Salutations on August 13th. I had to think about that. And we're here to not only say hi, but of course, let you know what's happened in the podcast in this past week. And how are you doing there, Kevin?
I am well. Just our typical Facebook woes
agenda here. I know everyone, it's a little complicated to do these Zoom and live and stream, but we finally made it and we're here to deliver. So today would be, let's see, our last week, August 7th. On Sunday we released Dealing with the Poundemic. You know how much I love to play with words. So I feel like a lot of us have, added a few pounds over the pandemic, but Kevin and I discussed some of kind of like our agendas, what's happened with us and what we're striving for. And you can listen to that conversation on episode 211. And then, of course, a throwback Thursday from one of our first year of episodes, episode 25, with Jen Tang, internal medicine physician who went part-time doing direct sales and loves that combination for her and her family. And you'll have to listen to that if you never heard the original. We had such a good time. We had quite a few back-to-backs of amazing interviews with physicians that first year. We still do that. And if you know anyone that, really has a cool story, we always would love to review that, see if it's appropriate for our agenda here at the Change Physician. Any thoughts or comments on those episodes there, Kevin?
No, fun episodes. I do think it's the screening part. I think that's interesting is because sometimes the people you want to talk to are the people who think that they have nothing to say.
I know.
And we've had people reach out to us and we haven't actually had them on because we didn't, I don't know. It's just, there's some people who just don't necessarily want to talk to.
Yeah.
So if you have an interest, we're probably interested in talking to you. If you're like, oh, they don't want to talk to me, we probably would like to talk to you, versus the people who's like, oh, I'm trying to get on every single show out there, blah, 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 and promote my new course or whatever it is. Not quite as much interested in those, although sometimes we are.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah.
I guess we're very selective. And
well, let's put it this way. If it's not you per se, but you know of someone that has a cool story, that actually might be interesting because
and that's actually even better. I like the third party recommendations or the second party recommendations better, and sometimes than the self promoters. I mean, I cognitively have nothing wrong with people really self promoting, but we've had some times when people have self promoted and it's truly in the fake it stage, like literally saying something that they aren't. Mm-hmm. So I'm not a big fan of that.
We're trying to protect what we share with people.
We do. We actually do care about our listeners and our viewers and want to make sure that we're putting forth information that has been properly vetted. So anyway, yeah.
Because apparently we're influencers since we're,
little influencers. Like we're like the little pebble thing that gets thrown into the river, but those pebbles can
have a ripple effect.
So. Well, and I don't remember we've ever done an episode on this because the whole online world, there's such a weird nepotistic, cronyistic aspect to it that it almost you could just see it happen, like the spiraling, and then they just sort of like promote themselves and promote, and then all of a sudden, oh, this person's popular because they've been promoted by all these other people who are popular, who got popular because they promoted themselves and really had nothing of substance other than that. It is weird. It's super bizarre.
And it's weird, like when you write a book or you're on social media or you have a website or you have emails and they have all this content, like there's some sense of, from the human brain, this legitimacy to it because it exists out there and it's not something you personally have experience with and you're not being a creator or you're not part of that world. And don't be fooled when you're on one email list and you have a certain viewpoint, whether it's politics or whatever it is, and you have all of a sudden you get all these other things that are targeting you and you have no idea you're being targeted, and we're all influenced. So anyway, I find it fascinating how if you just tap into one like email list, and maybe you're just curious, but it's not really like you're thinking. And all of a sudden you get all these other people that are sending you emails. You're like,
Well, they shouldn't, because that's a violation of can
right,
spam,
because you should be
right?
subscribing.
And I'm pretty aggressive about that. I'll flag them as spam. I've actually reported
yeah.
people to FTC about that. The algorithm stuff with the tags,
Mhm.
right? Those little pixel tags that they get on, those are always fascinating. And that's everybody. If you're not aware of that, you should be. Like, Google flags you, and that's why you look something up on Amazon and all of a sudden you're getting Google ads where you look for it. Yeah. So the more you're aware of the hyper connectivity of our online world,
Mhm.
and how much it influences us, and how much these algorithms are such a way as, in one way, the good aspect, if we're looking at it on the good side, they're trying to feed you information that they think that you would be interested in.
Right.
On the bad side of it, of which there's a lot of bad side, is then they feed you stuff that they want you to be interested in, and then tends to make you interested in it.
Mhm.
And the people who are really good at this, these troll farms, I mean, this is like the new side kind of cyber warfare that's going on, where we have basically societal espionage going on by influencing algorithms in the social media that people are consuming in the United States. And probably, I mean, we're probably doing the same things in other countries, I'm assuming, but it's definitely being performed in the United States. And it's sort of terrifying. And it's even more terrifying as people who don't know what's happening.
They're completely naive, especially the
yeah.
newbies.
Well, maybe I talk to my kids about it all the time, but in the biggest defense to this is making sure that your opinions are based upon factual information.
But what is fact whenever you get all this crap?
Well, the fact then becomes it's scientifically valid if you're looking at multiple sources that are diverse in opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of like that argument. I think we've done an episode on this on just practicing medicine. If you are practicing medicine, this is actually going to get into some more future episodes, but if you're practicing medicine in contrary to published evidence based on anecdotes of your own experience. Oh, I know the data says this, but I'm going to do blah, 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 right? So you're just following this path. That is really not the goal, right? So it should be your practice in anecdotes should be reinforced by evidence, in the same way that your consumption of whatever you're consuming on social media may have anecdotes and stories that are personal to you, but the broader realm of reality, whatever that is, mm-hmm. should be supportive of that. If it's contrary to that broader sense of reality and what's being published out there, then you better have really, 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 really strong evidence to support that kind of belief system. And rather than, this guy says this, or I'm not going to believe anything else other than this one person here, because that's a super dangerous place to be. And I mean, we see that. So anyway,
it's not uncommon.
Not uncommon at all, and really bad now. It's so bad.
I know.
People just they just consume everything, and you see this whole dissonance behavior going on, and the denying, and then the diminishing, and then the disavowal, and then finally the flank. I just don't believe it's true. But yeah. That's a little bit of a splurve off the whatever.
That's okay. We both do that.
I know. So on our Saturday salutations here, what are things that you want to either say hi about, or things that you are happy about or appreciative for?
Health. I always say that. I guess we had a couple rains that were quick, but gave a little drink to the lawn that's crunchy. My husband talked about something out there that was discussing how the correlation between the fried fish someplace and which one's crunchier, the Austin front yards or the fried fish. I don't know. It's a toss up. But a lot of people have just kind of given up. It's just horrendous. We have so much heat here, Kevin, and I mean 100-degree weather like almost every day, and like virtually no water or rain. And they give restrictions on once a week to water your lawn, and it's like not good enough. So
it's not good enough for the lawn. It's The lawns are something I always kind of fight with, because these big old green lawns that are this sort of all the artificial thing that we create aren't really that good. We don't have to worry about it. Well, we just let the round. I mean, I water it, our lawn here, but it, like, even our lawn guy's like, dude, your lawn's all dead here, and I'm like, I don't care, because it's going to come back in the wintertime. But in San Diego, I thought about it quite a bit, because then you're looking at the different types of grass there is, and then you're like, well, should we actually have all this when we're in a drought area? I know it's hard to how much is that, because we were raised with the grass and that's why we want it, or because most houses I don't think use their grass.
Yeah, like, are you running on it to throw the football and like have soft padding under your feet, or
are you rolling around doing yoga in your backyard every day? Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
No, I've kind of come to grips with the, I'm glad I put a little extra, like, I put some zoysia in the backyard and half of it was dead, but
but that comes back. No, not zoysia. You want the Bermuda stuff that supposedly comes back.
Well, I have Bermuda. It's on the fringe. Like, obviously there was some seed left behind when they replaced the zoysia, because I see the long runners that are trying to exit and find some more areas. But I figured, we'll see how it does in the next year. But we had thought about the front yard. It's just like, it's just so expensive, and it's just not, it doesn't make any sense. And so that's why I've just kind of landscaped out some areas with rock and just let the natural stuff happen. And the weeds actually make it look better, nice and green in certain parts of the time of the year. That's what you're mowing, pretty much, is the weeds. Yeah, I mean, I think, in Texas, I mean, it's almost like, you go to Arizona, like, what lawns? I mean, you have to have turf, like fake turf, if you want some green consistent. But
or Vegas, and that, I think that's I have this kind of quandary when it comes to I comes to lawns, because Vegas, and then they have all these lush lawns everywhere, and they just were sucking water from every place. And then they wanted to steal more water from the north of Nevada.
Yes. Oh, it's a mess. I mean, thinking about California, I mean, this whole
Southern California, again, we live there, same thing,
Yeah. No, it's getting bad. And then Lake Mead, I think, is the one there in Nevada that they're finding, bodies, because it's gone down.
Bodies.
They found 4 bodies already. That's horrible. I'm assuming my source is accurate.
Well, it may not be horrible, because now we know where they are.
Well, no, that, yes. But the fact, I mean, they've lost that much water that these are being exposed now. I don't think those people that maybe threw them in there or drowned in there. I mean, I know there was at least one that was purposely put there.
So mob bosses are gonna have to figure out a new way with climate change. They have to figure out new ways to dispose of their bodies.
Maybe go out in the middle of the ocean where it's 500 yards down, or not yards, like miles, or no, feet.
500 miles. That'd be really
no, that'd be too much. How many meters? What's the meters that, like, some of the deepest areas of the ocean?
I think it's like 30,000 feet or something like that.
Like, throw it down back there, if it doesn't catch trench. It doesn't get to the coast, at least.
Yeah.
Anyway, but anyway, the point is that there's lots of drought around, and you're asking what I'm grateful for, maybe, was just a little bit of rain, was kind of nice. But and just, the basics. A lot of people are having a hard time right now for a lot of reasons, with the situation economically. So I'm just really grateful that I am a physician that always has work. It create times for pivot and change based on, in my career, with, like, I'm associated with surgeons and change and things, you're always having a pivot, but by far there's always something out there. So I'm grateful for that. So what about you?
Well, I would say once again that I'm grateful that I'm a physician. And for those of you, this is the Change Physician podcast, and sometimes there's some regrets to go with it, but I literally almost every day I'm like, I'm so glad I went to medical school and I'm trained. Like it just keeps coming back in so many different ways. I mean, I'm doing completely non-clinical stuff now, but I'm still applying medical knowledge. And man, I just am so appreciative to it. So that's one. I did a couple Saturday salutations back. I talked about the old Rev Balance Swell 2.0, which was the board I picked up during the Prime Day thing. And I wrote a review on it because I'm like, I should have bought this thing like a year or 2 years earlier when I first saw it. It was on a Facebook ad, actually, because that thing is so awesome. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how much fun it is. And
That's awesome.
I do it if I was out of town over the weekend, but I do it every day. I'm at home. They give you they're smart in the marketing department, which I also appreciate in a good way, because, they buy it and then they send you the 30-day challenge that you can do, which is literally an email and says, for this week, you're going to do blah. And this week you're going to do blah. And I'm on the last week. In some of the challenges, I was like, ooh, that looks super easy. Because the last week there's a different challenge every day versus a similar one for the week. I'm like, well, that one looked easy. This one looks hard. And I was shocked because the one that I thought was going to be super easy, which is literally like balance and then put a full water bottle between your legs and then stand up and pick it up again. And I think maybe my water bottle was too skinny, but that was super hard. And then there was another one where you have to like pivot on the board. So you're balancing and it says about face. So you're facing, say, north, and then you're supposed to pivot south. And the video on it actually isn't the video on the website actually isn't that. They actually do it where you actually jump and pivot your feet. And I was like, oh, that looks too scary. I can't do that. I can't jump and move my feet, but I can pivot. I pivoted. And then I'm actually literally jumping on this thing where my feet are like this. And then you jump and you switch your feet and stay balanced. It's super cool. Like,
yeah, challenging.
Yeah. It's cool. I mean, yeah. And do other stuff on it. And then you can watch TV and you sway back and forth like you're on a boat. So I love it. And I am like, seriously, folks, if you have to pick only one piece of equipment, I would definitely pick a balance board. And I
over the kettlebell.
For a universal piece of equipment, I would definitely do the balance board because it hits so many aspects. It's the balance that we almost all forget about. It engages your entire body. So you're getting sort of the strength thing on it. I do a daily set of push-ups and squats, like 25 a day. It's just sort of like a goal for the year. And I've been doing the push-ups using the balance board. And then if I'm motivated, a lot of days I'll do the squats on the balance board. And there's all this other stuff. You just go to their website and you can do this, this, and this, and here's these workouts. So I just don't see another piece of equipment that has everything like that does. Now, the second thing I would buy would be a kettlebell, but a kettlebell, you generally are going to start wanting more than one.
Yeah.
You really only need about 3, but you're going to want more than one. Start with the balance board and then move from there. But it's just so fun. Like it's just fun.
You've heard it here. You can get joy out of the smallest things in life. And Kevin has proven that right now.
Lots of joy with my little balance board. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, and then awesome. Other than that, family. Like, so last weekend we went to I flew out, saw my mom, and the whole reason we went out there was because our old neighborhood where I grew up, like there was our street and the street next door, and they used to have this big old family group of the moms, because this is older, who would do all this crafting, and then my best friend and I were basically thrown together there. And we were the youngest out of all these kids. And it was the first. So they had this thing where a lot of these parents were born in 1942 and they brought them back for this 42er event. There was like 60 something people there. Most of whom I have not seen in over 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'll probably won't see them again because there's, they're off some, no one else, but it was fun. It was a hoot. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I'm glad we went. Took my son and dragged him along. He got to hear some stories and stuff. And yeah, he had a really good time.
That's great. Yeah. Wonderful times.
Oh, and last we flew out of Eugene Airport, which is a small regional airport in Oregon. And I'm like, this is the greatest. And if I could figure out how to fly out of there more, I will definitely do it, because you can park, you walk in, security wasn't too bad. Obviously there's not a lot of flights because it's a small thing, but it was boom, you get on, you're off, done. Great. Versus having to drive up to Portland. No, actually we boarded. Wait, what did we board on the tarmac? One of them we got
Walk
off, we boarded
outside
on the
or-
tarmac, and the other airport when we got to, is either we got to Reno and we had an actual shooty thing, the thing that
Yeah.
comes out from the thing.
Like a breezeway.
I think we had a breezeway in Reno, and I think we loaded on the tarmac in Eugene. Not an issue. I mean, just go up the steps and get in or whatever. We flew this small little airline that's got the 3-2 seating, these little Embraer jets.
Yeah.
So everything, there's no middle seats anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's because, these budget airlines, you have to be able to stuff your stuff either about under the seat in front of you or check it.
Mhm.
And we only go in for a couple of days. So we just basically use backpacks and stuff them under the chair. And I like that because I'm trying to pack less. I'm trying to get to be, I'm really, I talked about this, didn't I? I'm really trying to be a minimalist when it comes to packing. So it's good
Mhm.
practice on that. And it was a good trip for a lot of
Awesome.
different reasons.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, win-win. Well, why don't you
Win-win.
take us out?
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us on Saturday Salutations. Always good to imagine your faces since I can't see you. And always good to talk to Melissa about these things. If you have favorite things and or something that you would like to talk about or be appreciative for, let us know. You can email me directly at drkevin@thechangedphysician.com. And until next week, stay well.
Take care.